It's all happening. Hi there. My name is Chris Farah, and welcome to my YouTube channel where today we will be talking about 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Honey, it's episode 4. It's season 4, episode 5. Our lips are sealed. Go ahead, come on in this room, flip the switch, give it a thumbs up. I'm so happy you are here. I'm going to be definitely uploading more content during this precarious time in our lives. So if you haven't yet, I'm going to, go ahead and inspire you to hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. For some reason, YouTube notifications can kind of like laissez-faire. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. So I really want, since I do a lot of lives, if you're on the computer, if you are bored, I want you to be able to know when I'm going to be talking and uploading so you can come hang out. I also always post notifications to my Vanity Fair Facebook group, and that's a great way of connecting with other subscribers and talking about the things we talk about here, and I respond. That's the easiest way to get to me and talk to me as well, and I always post there before I go live. This is, again, a time in America and the world where we are staying in, hopefully, if you can, besides the essentials. And that means on our TVs and tablets and internet a lot. And I know what's happening out there is very scary and anxiety ridden. And I will talk about it. But most of the time, I'm just talking about the things that we always talk about, which is fluffity fluff, right? Just to have like some semblance of like other content, of like easier, lighter content. So I see people are already in the room. I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for liking this video off the bat. Also, I appreciate that. I did copious notes for this last episode. 90 Day Fiance. I did the kind of notes as if I was doing a tape review. So we're going to get into it. Sad to have no Darcy and Tom. They really, they always like leave out one couple. There was no Darcy and Tom. But we're going to get more of them next time. So that's fine. I see how you do Sharp Entertainment. You can't give us everything we want. You have to like hold something back just to keep it mysterious. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to go through my notes and reviews. And if you really want to say something during this time you want me to react to, you are welcome to give me a super chat and I will see it immediately, hopefully, and respond. But you definitely don't have to. No worries either way. And then afterwards, I will go ahead and respond to you guys and talk to you guys, just so that people who are rewatching this aren't hella annoyed. Anyway, let's start, shall we? Let's start with Lisa, Baby Love, and Usman. First, okay, so this was an episode of Soulja Boy trying to get Baby Love to understand where he's coming from, the plight of Soulja Boy, which is that he's an artist, honey, and he has female fans, and he has to create his art unencumbered by the very controlling and jealous Baby Love. Every time I hear this, her name, which is Baby Love, I mean, I know her name was technically birth name Lisa, but Baby Love supersedes that. I always think of like, baby love, my baby love, I need ya, oh how I need ya. And it makes me upset because that's a great song and I don't want it to be like ruined for me. So I'm hopefully now it'll be ruined for you too. Okay, so Lisa and Usman have been boning that raw bone and they're into it, and she has, snatchatized him, because he has realized that she is far more controlling and more jealous than he thought she was going to be. And yet like hasn't kicked her to the curb. Okay. But he's a gentleman, I guess. I'm not quite sure. But this episode is him trying to get other people to talk to her. Kind of being like, maybe if I have this person tell her, like that she's bananas, that like it'll get through. Lisa's attitude has gone from like horrible to like just decrepit. I mean, it's so interesting because sometimes when I'm watching these interactions, I'm like, it's kind of a little bit like you gave the same Angela and Michael script to like another pair in an acting class and you just see different choices. different choices being made. Same script, different POVs, because Lisa is like not fun loving, not screamy. She's just angry all of the time and like has like no desire to impress anyone. I mean, she is like take it or leave it, and I don't understand how you could even think about leaving it. There's just no need, like for her to play nice or make nice or compromise or talk things out or give any gentleness or any sensitivity, honey. Like that's not where she's coming from. Where she's coming from is I run the roost. I rule the roost. I run Nigeria. I rule the roost. So at first we talked to Soulja Boy's director and the famous director of Baby Love. And his artistic vision was tempered by Lisa's wants. Because they made a love song, and usually when you make like a love song, you're going to have a video with like a love interest, so that, oh, hi, Ty, thank you. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me a gift on your birthday, but I'm so happy you're here. It is Lisa. We're talking about Mickey. So, but Ty, I hope you have the best one, and I'm sorry that your birthday is like probably not like what you would assume birthdays would be, and probably not what you hoped for in the sense of like a bunch of people like going to a bar and celebrating you or some fabulous dinner or some party somewhere, but this will be your party. So anyway, and the reason why you'd like want to have like a love interest in the video is that like the love interest kind of represents the audience. It's kind of like it's like, I guess there's porn that happens like with one person. I guess that's true, like cam people and like masturbation videos. But like, I'm assuming that the far more popular porns are like porns with partners. And I mean, not to like equate the two, but I mean, yeah, I am equating the two, which is like, because as a viewer, we're going to pick one. We're going to be like subconsciously we pick one. And then the other person is whoever we want. And I think the same thing happens in a music video, like especially about a love song, right? Like the artist is Soulja Boy. And then like for the audience, they either pick, you're either Soulja Boy if you're the dude, you're like, yeah, there's me singing, and like there's that hot piece that like wants it. And if you're like a female fan, you're like, she's like me, she's not intimidating, or she is in fact so hot, and like that's who my boy would get. Okay. But Lisa didn't want that. Lisa said, the song's about me. And since I can't be in the music video, because how dare you decide to tape it, record it before I'm there, it can't be anyone. I really truly feel like Lisa wanted to be in the music video. And she probably is pissed that like they were just like, oh, we'll hold off till you're here. And it's crazy for Lisa to think that she'd be in the video. Lisa has the self-confidence of like, me in my best day, but also in my wildest dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't give an F. Like she's like, what I have down here, like, is the best. What I have up here and here, even better. I wear a high-low skirt. I feel like she feels like because she let Soulja Boy like stick it in her raw, and because he had never had it before, that like she owns like a piece of his soul. It's kind of like she's Ursula and Usman is Ariel. And like they made a contract. And at any time she could like turn Usman back into like one of those like fucking sea weeds, like with the like sea plants that are like Ursula. Like I feel like she just has like she thinks she has ultimate control over him. It's so interesting. So the director like calls her a queen of queens, and she like is a little bit like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, that's a good thing. You're queen of queens, but like we all knew that it was like a bad thing somehow. And then they go to a bar, right? And then Usman introduces her to Abba S-Boy or A-Boy. S-Boy? I'm not quite sure. I mean, I put S-Boy, but I almost feel like, why would I? Well, I think it's S-Boy. They all have like, nicknames. Baby Love, which by the way, Baby Love is like actually a really, I think, a cute name for like an R&B artist. But that's not what's happening here. Abba gets straight to the goddamn point. You want to destroy his career? Take away like any possibility for like fantasies for these female fans that like want a fantasy. And she's like, how fucking dare you? Don't even talk to me. Like this one, the fact that you're not even like telling this one to get out. Like, and Soldier Boy the whole there is like, yeah, would you want to destroy my, oh, just kidding. And he can't even tell his friend to shut up because like, first of all, he brought him here to say that. Lisa just like gets up, storms out, tells him to shut up. Like she's pissed. Like she's pissed that like he's not defending her and like doesn't get it, and like she doesn't get it. How come she doesn't get it? I so like she's gonna get jealous over a music video of like people being acting and directed to like be, and he didn't even like, he wasn't even touching the girl in the music video. Like can you imagine if this was like an American artist? Like an American artist, he'd be like half naked, she'd be in bed, you know, like she'd be like I mean literally spread eagle, like falling down some sort of pole, like a dance pole, and like twerking in front of him, and he'd be like throwing dollars on that butt if he was an American artist, right? He's like just singing off to the side. This girl's sitting like on an embankment. She's self distancing. She's quarantining herself like more than 6 feet away on like some cement, just looking at him longingly. She's like not intimidating, although she's very beautiful. By not intimidating, I mean she's actually very beautiful, but she's just dressed. She's not even like naked. She's just like a lovely lady, just like, there goes my boo, you know? Lisa, it just is like the pouty McPoutiest, angry, gruff, grumpy. She's a grumpy old woman. She's like Walter Matthau, you know, something Lemon. I forgot that guy's name, but I did love that movie and Grumpy Old Men too. Oh, what great movies! Walter Matthau, something Lemon. You guys will tell me. Maybe I have some of my like elder friends who will tell me what that person's name was. Okay, so let's go to David. David and his fluffy hair, honey, whether that's a wig, whether that's a piece, whether he had, you know, like Jack Lemon, thank you. What's happening on his head, honey, I don't know. But he is at, you know, he's preparing for his trip, right? And he's in America and he goes ring shopping, you know, and he goes to the Bring place and they're like, what are you looking for? And he's like, off the table, diamonds. Don't even think about it. On the table, a cubic zirconian, which is nice. No hate. It's just that the gall of some men to think their tastes and lifestyles are worthy of certain women. Lana, in all that he knows, that he's been talking to for 7 years, is young as hell and hot. And this man thinks that his lifestyle, the cubic zirconian van life, is going to be appealing to her. You know what I'm saying? Now you might tell me, we don't know what her class level is in Ukraine, but we do know what she's hoping for because of the way she presents herself. And it's not a cubic zirconian in a van with an old dude. Really old. Not attractive dude. It's like all four. It's not just like you like, are you young? No. Are you hot? No. Okay. What are you, rich? Van life cubic zirconian. It's both things because it's like what you're going to give her that she's going to be able to have, and then her overall surroundings and lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to work. But he's very clueless. I mean, he's like a young Stacey Dash. He has no idea. So he's like, yeah. He goes to this person and he's like, okay, well, like let's talk about it. She's like, I want a cubic zirconian. I have no idea what size of ring. She has small hands. So this dude, he is like the poor customer service guy is like, all right, well, just get in my store. I mean, what are you gonna do? I don't even know your size. You can get a $200 ring at Macy's. I don't know what to tell you. So he gets going to go to the Ukraine. And we found out that that Lana, who's the girlfriend, has to take a 10-hour bus ride from like or train ride from wherever she is. They did not plan it right because she's going to be on the bus or on the train. I don't know what method it is on the train before he lands. So it's like he's going to land without her. I don't know why they just didn't figure that out a little better. Maybe he could have come the next day. Maybe she could have left a little earlier. But I mean, to our knowledge, she didn't even know like what bus slash train she was going to get on, right? That was the last we heard. But he does have a friend to come pick her up. And this girl's name is Anya. So Anya, as we've talked about, was another prospect that he had on one of the dating websites. And he actually came to visit her. And then during the date, like they met and dated, and like there was a no sparks, like definitely not on her side. Like I'm sure he felt all of it. She's a very slight, nice looking lady or whatever. And I think she's like thusly got married. But somehow they maintained a relationship. I have no idea why. I don't know why Anya's why she would talk to him. She's already married. She wasn't into it. Seems like a waste of time to talk to this old guy a million miles away. But, God bless. Maybe he's helped her out. I don't know. But she is skeptical of the Lana thing. She's like, I don't get it. This seems fake to me. And let's face it, like I'm knee deep in the trenches. I was on, foreign dating websites. I live here. Like, like this isn't like one of your friends and your other friends mail order bride talking. This is me. I'm on these streets. I know what's happening. It's not good. So they, Anya comes and picks him up, and then he goes back to his hotel. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he packed 2 rolls of toilet paper, which I appreciate because like he must enjoy like a 2 or 3 ply, and like there's like probably just like sandpaper on the rolls at the hotel he got. Just there was a lot of weird like COVID coronavirus parallels in this episode. When we get to Stephanie, we'll talk more about that. But like maybe because of the age we're living in, every time I'm like toilet paper, like is he hogging it all? He can live without toilet paper. Either can I. Did he bring some Cottonelle wet wipes? Because if you know me, I always travel with Cottonelle wet wipes. Personally, like you don't wash your dishes with a dry paper towel, so why you would wipe your butt with any sort of dry ply? Not for me. I'm like holding out for a bidet. I really want a bidet. The only reason why I haven't gotten one is because I'm really bad like connecting things in my home. Like I have like a broken shower head. Like I'm waiting to like I really need to like whatever. I need to hire like one handyman to do all the stuff, like put in a water filter for me and like put in a bidet for me and like fix my shower head. I would like to do that, but now we're in an age where I can't hire anyone. I can't see anyone ever again. Okay, so make sure you're, hit the notification bell because I'll be doing a lot of lives. I'm bored. So that's all I have to say about him. Let's move on. Stephanie and Erica. Okay. I'm trying to like write more about them because the truth is like I'm bored as hell by Stephanie. Like she's boring. And that's upsetting because it's great to think like, oh, she's a YouTube content creator. And it's like the first like lesbian couple or even gay couple, like how exciting. And they're like roughly young and they're very good looking people. And like she has like her like fun, like, Eastern European mom. But like even with all of those things and her like deathly illness, I'm still bored by her, as well as traumatized by the current landscape of COVID-19. So like when I'm watching her like talk about how crazy it is for her to travel, I'm like, that's what we are all dealing with now. Anyway, so Stephanie is en route to the Australian outback, much different from where Avery and Ash are going because this is like in the boonies or whatever. And it's just like a lot of footage of like Stephanie, like traveling healthily, which is her like Lisa running the whole place by wiping down with Purell, or Naomi Campbelling. You can pick which one you want. Lisa running from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We saw her like 3 seasons ago how she traveled, which was that she'd get those Purell wipes, wipe everything down, honey. And then when she's in the hotel, honey, she's wiping the phone receivers and everything down too. So that had already happened like years ago. And then before COVID happened, we saw like Naomi Campbell, like that's how she travels too. And now we all travel that way. That's how we all, from this moment on, it's a new world. And that's how we all have to travel, right? Like with the masks, with the hand sanitizer and the wipes, wipe everything down because, like, I mean, if you don't know, you know that like planes are like cesspools. They're petri dish cesspools. And, like, I don't understand like why the travel industry is like bananas bankrupt all the time. But it's so crazy because, like, back in my day, we'd get free shit. You could bring, like, there was no baggage fees, and and every airline would give you some nuts and some drinks, like, but then, like, even before COVID, like, it started to be, maybe it was like the 9/11 world or whatever, but then suddenly it was like, oh, you want a soda? Like, pay for it. Like, okay, like, you want to bring a bag on? Like, here's a baggage fee. Like, I can't have a bag? You think I'm gonna like go to New York with like one little roll on? I mean, no. I have like three outfit changes. And I'm already paying, and like, then the seats got smaller, then you had to pay for extra leg room, which I always have to pay for. I have very long legs. I mean, it's crazy. And then on top of all those extra fees, they never clean the plane. They never clean it. Like, ever. For some reason they don't. Like, there are workers on the plane. There are like two goddamn captains at all time and the fleet of different flight attendants, and like, they don't clean it. And this is why I don't get this. Because even when you like, I worked in a restaurant for a very long time. Side note is I have like this crazy story about Ellen DeGeneres, like literally trying to get me fired. And this story like is on Twitter right now. And I uploaded old stand-up of me talking about it, and like it's blowing up. But why I'm saying that is because you should know I worked in a restaurant for a long time, like on and off 10 years at a vegan restaurant. Like, I would never have people sit at a dirty table. We wiped that shit down. Like, often wipe the other stuff down, like the actual chairs and stuff like that. Like, I don't understand in a customer service situation where we're expected to sit like at dirty shit. Why isn't there like some sanitizer on a rag and then like take 30 extra minutes for like the crew to like wipe down armrests and wipe down? I mean, like, you know how many people are in a plane all the time and like putting their dirty, like, there's always like snot rags in the front, where the magazines are. It's like so gross. You have to clean it. I'm sorry. If you're gonna like charge me every one of those fees, like, do something. Your only job is to like fly something from one place to another. That's what we're paying you for. And now we're paying all these extras, and you can wipe it down. Okay, so this is a long diatribe on that. But I mean, maybe they'll like, maybe they're gonna like start doing that now, especially if they want people to travel again. Like, make us come back into your clean arms by like having us have trust that you're gonna wipe shit down. Okay, so let's talk. So Stephanie and Erica. So Stephanie, we know. Erica, we get to like meet. Erica is like an Aussie rainbow bright. Like, rainbow bright means punky byster. Just kidding. But she's like a photographer, just like rainbow all the time. Like, she's, out and proud. She's like, every day is the gay parade, but like, not that she's like super gay. I'm just saying she's rainbowy. A lot of rainbows. All the colors, honey, Skittles. Okay. She is taking pictures in the outback, like, and there are a lot of bloomin' onions in the outback, but not a lot of bi girls. And also like nowhere to hang out because like her friends just like pitch a chair and then they have their various like reusable to-go glasses, which I liked, and that's how they hang out. Just like out in the wilderness where like a koala can come and like punch you out. What I'm saying? Or one of those like kangaroos that punch. I don't know. I'm real smart when it comes to geography and other places. Okay. One of her friends looks like Cara, that model, Cara de Bolivio. Oh, I can't say that person's name. You either know who I'm talking about or you don't. But, and they are skeptical, as friends on the show usually are, of how it's going to work out between them because they've only known each other for ever how long. And it's really going to mean that their friend's going to, either say yes or no to moving to America. So we move back to Stephanie, who's been traveling 3 different planes, honey, and she feels like she smells, and she's been caking makeup on, just keeps putting makeup on. And I don't know why she did that. I feel like the better option would have been to like travel like at least the first two flights with like no makeup and just constantly be reapplying like different serums and stuff. Maybe you could do a mask and then like an hour before you land, that's when you put on fresh makeup. Fresh makeup. However, we have to also remember, I guess, and by we, I mean me, this person is a content creator who went on the show to talk to her love, but really to be famous, to get more subscribers. Because I'm pretty sure, because they were like posting on Instagram about being on the new season before it started. I remember they were posting and using the hashtag, and then I think I told you this already. And people would in the comments be like, who are you? And they're like, we're in the next season. Like they were so happy. So happy to be famous. But Stephanie makes it, and we can't tell if she's sick yet because it usually takes some time for those symptoms to arise, as we all know now. And she comes down the escalator, and it's really cute because Erica's right there, and they want to run to each other, but they can't because it's like awkward. She has her like multiple suitcases, but they finally go up the elevator, and then they hug, and then the cameraman does like the best 360 shot of our lives where it's just like oh, I knew it was like so now you saw my messy room. Gonna plug that in. Okay, so let's move on, and not a lot to say about this one, but Yolanda and Williams. Okay, so Yolanda and Williams. Yolanda is still sad because as we left him off, Williams had deleted or got rid of his Instagram account. And Yolanda has like 3 pictures of Williams, right? Because he hasn't FaceTimed her. And like we've seen those 3 pictures. And there's 3 pictures, and all she does is look at his 2 nipples. I mean, it's always just like the shirtless guy. And we all know that that can't possibly be him. That can't be him. That's not him. That man isn't just like looking for an older woman in America. Is he? Because he's from England, right? Like Manchester. Like, I hate to say this, but like, wouldn't this be easier to believe if he was from, as we've seen, like the Tunisias and the Turkeys? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Yolanda has to film something. So we have a scene with her and her BFF Kim, who I like immediately. And she has like these butterfly earrings, and she has like a big ass cross that's just laying in her titties. And Kim like says everything through gritted teeth. Oh, okay. Which I'm like, yeah, Kim, God bless. Kim looks so sweet, isn't she? I'm like, I like you, Kim. So they go to like a broke down Charlotte Russe, like there's lingerie in one corner, there's just like bedazzled other things in another corner. I mean, who knows? It's like fast fashion. It's like they got to find something hot and cute for this trip. Like that. I don't even know why Yolanda is thinking it's still going to happen. If like he wasn't getting back to me, I mean, I don't know. She's just living in a fool's paradise. I just can't believe it. And I feel bad for her kids. Like none of them. How is she so ignorant? Or like how is she so naive? Is really the word. She's like lived a life. She has all those kids. Her husband was like in and out of prison. I mean, hasn't she like seen stuff to make her a little more jaded to the bullshit? But honey, she's like, rain me down the bullshit. I love it. She can't see past the end of her nose. Anyway, that's all I have to say about them. Okay. Jeffrey, that's that person's name, and Varia. So, okay. We picked up with Jeffrey being at Varia's apartment, right? And like not liking it, like not being into it. And specifically, not being into the fact that she just bought an apartment and then stopped doing anything nice to it. Pretty much living like in shambles because she thinks that has like one foot out the door and one foot in America. And he is like not sleeping. It's not laying right with him. He's not like, he slept poorly, thinking about that. And then on, which looked like a cot, which is fine. And but also like there's no blinds, so the sun kept piercing in at his eyeballs, his like blue eyeballs. So he slept bad, and Varya doesn't get it. Varya is like up and out of she's just like wearing an extrovert shirt. Varya decides to go bring them to like a nature reserve hiking, like beautiful walk area called In a Kingdom. And yeah, she has like these Skittle earrings on. They look just like yellow plastic. I want to like through my mouth. I love Skittles. And yeah, that purple shirt on with like jean shorts. I mean, she looked like a camp counselor. I was like, okay. Um, they're walking in this beautiful place, and I think Varya was like, he likes nature, he hates the city. Like this will be good for him. Like this is like where he's from. And she's like, they're walking. She's like, hear those birds? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, the birds in your house are so much louder. Every time I FaceTime you, it's like clackety clacks and those goddamn birds get me to a city. And it's love her so much. She hates it. Um, and then they stop on a bridge and she's like, you have awkward body, like you are closed off from me right now. And he's like, well, like I am just your opportunity to get to America. And she's like, is opportunity a bad word? I'm sorry. We think of opportunity being a good word. It's a positive thing. And he's like feeling some time away about it. And then she like tells this story, this folk story. And it's like this story of a guy who shoots an arrow not at his love, but just out in the wilderness. And it happens to hit a frog, but the frog is a princess. So he marries it, and it's a good wife to him. And then she was like, you didn't hit a frog, you hit a princess. Me. So what's the problem? It's like I didn't quite understand. I was like waiting for the man to kiss the frog, and then maybe the frog would then turn into a princess. That didn't happen either. Um, then they have dinner, right, with Varya's friends, and her friends are skeptical, and they, like aren't. It's always this. It's always like having dinner with friends of the other, and whoever's friends it is are always going to be defensive and protective over their friend, and trying to like hit the other with the hard questions. Also, like 'cause that's what the producers want them to do. So the problem is like literally. Sorry, my dad started talking. I thought he was talking to me. We thought that like, oh, sorry, none of the friends speak English, right? Like, there's like one friend who like speaks a lick or whatever, but he sits down, talks to all of them, and they're like, so like, is this serious to you? Like, you've had other relationships, and he's like, yeah, it's serious. It's why I'm here. I wouldn't have come. And they're like, yeah, you would have. There's a documentary crew following you. Like, you would have followed this to the ends of the earth if like would make you famous. I'm not quite sure. But then he's like, they kind of like ask about his past, and he gets super defensive because we like know there's like a lot of skeletons in his past, which by the way, I'm going to do a cast controversies video before Sunday. So in a separate live, I'm going to have like planned out all my sarcasm and all my like comedy and I'm sorry, all my like gossip bits for you. And then we'll do a deep dive into like what's happening with these people because I'm finally like into the couples and I like know who they are and I care more. So like if I can get some juicy scoop for you, like I'm gonna be into it, like some hot goss, about what's happening with them or like what happened after the show or what happened before the show and like how they're dealing with it and like their Instagram shit. Like, I love that shit. And now that we're like we're into the season, like I feel like it'll like be relevant. Okay. By the way, not thank you by the way for everyone who's liked this video. This is like a little small intimate live. Okay, so so the friends are talking and they want him to talk about his past, but he doesn't want to talk about his past, right? He's like, well, we never talked about it. What's dumb? Like the past, the past. Like he's pulling like he's pulling a Rosemary. It's like, Avery's going to get like into like feels like she's being interrogated by Ash's brother. And just like Jeffrey feels interrogated by Varya's friends. And Jeffrey does not want to talk about his past, much like Rosemary. So, because because he's hiding things, right? And so he's never asked her about her past really because he doesn't want to talk about his past. Interesting. So then one of her friends, right, is like, "Why don't?" I mean, this is like basically what happens because she doesn't speak English, but she's like, "Oh, you don't ever talk about each other's past, so like, you don't know that our girl Varia like was recently in a communication with another American." And Varia's like, and he's like, "What'd she say?" She's like, "Nothing important, nothing." And then like, her friend like is like, "No, no, American male. How do you say before or whatever?" And he's like, "What?" And then so Varia has to like come clean. She's like, "I was talking to another American before you." And like that is just the cherry on the sundae of the nuts and the whipped cream and the chocolate sauce that Jeffrey has been piling on the sundae of whether he should be into Varia. And it's too much for him because he had already been feared about the opportunity conversation of like her not finishing the reno of her place. And so he like makes a big to do, and her friends know that it's bad. And then like at one point he gets up. When at one point her friend, the male, one of her male friend, only male friend, gets up, and one at one point he gets up as if they're going to argue, but they've not said nary a word to each other besides the hello because they don't speak the same language. And we get to see like Jeffrey like go from like awkward and weird to like in your face, which now we realize like you didn't have to say anything about your past. We see it. We see that past coming back. The past repeats itself. Everyone who thinks like the past and the past, no, the past repeats itself. It does. Unless you are just so evolved that you really learned your lessons. I mean, like, that's not, things come back. Lessons are, shown and shown and again until we master them and learn them. That's just the way it is. So that dinner does not end well. He storms off, honey, into the night. And then Varia's friends are just like there, like little women around her, like comforting, like little women, like how Marmy's in the middle and they're all like, Mom, but they're all just like, feel better about it, Varia. Like, now I'll get you a handyman and we'll get that house done. Okay, so Avery and Ash. So Avery and Ash, wake up the next morning and they boned, and they feel great about it. And, but oh, and then they have a great day where Avery wears like a really cute big ass cable knit sweater. I'm into that sweater. It's the same sweater that's in their like couple pose. So my dad's talking so loud on his phone, but I'm like, can you hear him? He's like screaming behind like a door. I mean, he's not screaming at all. He just talks loud. And also my dad has this thing now where he'll like he will just put his friends on speakerphone and that's how he has conversations. He does it all the time in public. I hate it. I'm like, I would buy him Apple AirPods, but I know he won't use them. It's like, come on, dad. Maybe I'll try and get them though, because I feel like you can't be doing this and it's loud. Um, okay, so they had a great day. They're just like enjoying the country and it's not awkward, which, is not the same for other people. And they have this dinner, right, with Ash's, I almost said boyfriend, brother. And Ash's brother looks like Ash, just like with decidedly less eye. Um, and Ash knows that Avery is anxious to meet him because he says, I can feel you. I can feel it. And it's like, no, you, honey, you can see it because you have the biggest goddamn eyes. Like, you can see what's happening all around you. He's just like, he has binoculars for eyes. Then the brother sits down and it's like super awkward between Ash and his brother. Like, they won't make eye contact. And the brother just sits down like super cold. Like, not even like a like, hey, brother that I live with, that I'm meeting your girlfriend. It's just like he seems like defensive of like he seems like not just like being defensive of his brother, but also like he's been through so much shit with his brother too, that he like doesn't trust him. I feel yeah, like it was kind of like going back to what I was saying about like Love is Blind and like how Damien's family like wouldn't meet, Gigi or whatever. And it's kind of the same thing where I'm like, at one point, like you can be questioning your friend and your family members like love choice, but for you to be like so overtly negative off the bat, it begs the question of like, why don't you trust your loved one to make a rational adult decision? Is it because they have a past of not doing so? Has there been many instances of them making horrible, rash decisions that you've had to like watch, like just destroy lives? Anyway, so at one point, also, do you notice that Avery like asks Ash's brother if he's eaten here before at the restaurant, and it's like a really awkward yes. I was like, what happened the last time you guys were here? Is this the place that like Ash brings all his like biddies to? Is Ash some like sociopath that's always like meet us at Ciao Bella, or whatever it was like some Italian restaurant or whatever, and like the brother just like feels like he's in a Groundhog Day, waking up and having to like go to some awkward dinner with like a new brown haired girl. Anyway, so then Ash orders a drink. It's like a dirty martini, and Ash's brother, like we've known, doesn't drink. Ash doesn't really drink, but to like smooth things over, he decides to order a drink. I thought he'd ordered the same drink as Avery, which was a dirty martini, but a different drink comes, looks like a margarita. And then like it's one of those things also, and this is has to be, I don't know exactly the cultural thing, but yeah, Ash's brother like thinks ordering alcohol is like the devil's work. Just really, really like feels like it's like a horrible influence and a bad sign, and like why would you do that, and it's like you listen, there are many different cultures and races and religions in this world, and maybe I just don't quite understand if Ash is from one of those religions. Like obviously we've like Muslims, as we have learned in the show, like not the biggest alcohol drinkers, and like I understand from a religious place if like you feel like your body is a temple and why would you sully it or whatever. I mean, I understand. I do drink alcohol, but like, there's lots of different reasons for people not want to drink alcohol. I don't understand. I was not raised Muslim. And so like, those aren't the religious ideals that I have or, like, no, or whatever. I also am thankful that I have never been raised in a household with an alcoholic. So I don't have that like alcohol is the devil poison that like ruins lives thing. I mean, I know it can, but like, it's not something that I've had to deal with. Alcohol in moderation is just like whatever it is, like I'm not someone who drinks by myself. I've never seen my dad drunk. I've seen my dad drink on many occasions. I drink with my dad all the time. If we go out to dinner, we often have wine together. I like red wine. I don't like all alcohol. I like red wine though. And like if I'm out and about, at a place, I'll have like a vodka soda and like I definitely like champagne. Those are my three kinds of drinks I enjoy. So anyway, I guess I don't understand why like Ash's brother like can be so quick to judge over a goddamn drink. It's a drink. It's legal. This girl isn't like, I think the same thing about weed. Like weed's not a big deal, but could you imagine like the brother like seeing her smoke, which she smokes all the time? She smokes all the time. Like if you think a drink is bad at a public place during a dinner, what are you gonna think about when she's like token and watching, like something funny on Netflix, which by the way sounds amazing. But I mean, like, it's just like, why are people so anyway? Well, I would like to know like what the deal is with that. Um, but then he like starts to interrogate her and like is like, well, what's gonna happen? You both have kids. Well, have you ever had a serious relationship before? And I think it comes from like him judging her for having kids but not being married. And she's like, well, I didn't get married maybe, but like my other relationships were like committed or whatever. And then he just like basically tells him to the face, like, I don't think this is gonna last. I don't see how it possibly could. It was just so shitty. And so much audacity. Also so disrespectful of Ash. Like I don't get why you'd be disrespecting Ash's choices and the woman that he brought over. Unless I'm like, what's the story behind it for you to feel the gall to do that? Have I said the word gall like 17 times in this live? I'm not quite sure. You guys, can you believe it? Let's see where we're at. 44 minutes. Oh my God, we're on the last couple. Last couple. Last couple. Oh yeah, remember my thumbs it up song? I haven't done that in so long. Actually, there's more thumbs it up. There's more thumbs up right now, so it's like, but I'll sing it anyway. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. That's cool. I've been singing a lot. One of the things, coping mechanisms of this weird time in our lives is that I have friends that are pianists and they are doing lives where they're just playing Broadway and Disney songs, and I'll, for like an hour, just tune in and sing along. If you want this live too, you can follow Laura Wiley. Forgot, is that her name on Instagram? And that's her real name, but I don't know what her full handle is. Or if you've ever been to New York, there's a place called Marie's Crisis, which is like a basement piano bar in the West Village that is like the gayest thing in the whole world and the best place. And it's like it's my dream come true. And they go through the canon of Broadway songs. And so there's a Facebook group called Marie's Crisis, and then every day one of the pianists is doing one of these live streams or whatever, and you can like kick them $5 for PayPal or Venmo. But it's just like, if you like that shit, it's real good. It's really nice. Hi. Okay. Oh, Mickey, you're like, by the way, loved your Fancy. I'm so thankful. Yeah, I put up a full length comedy special that I shot a couple years ago that took me a long time to edit, and yeah, it's up and it's free. So you can watch my comedy special. Isn't that crazy? It's not Chris Farah doing comedy. It's a character I do named Fancy. And I look different during that time too. So that'll be a blast from the past. But she's fun. Okay, so last couple is Rosemary and Ed. Okay, so Rosemary and Ed, after their like disastrous flea market day, get a happy mani-pedi, honey. Actually, I feel like they get petties and not manis, which come back later to bite them in the butt because I look at like Rosemary's nails. I'm like, why'd you get her a mani too? I mean, I'm saying like usually it's like a two-person deal. Also, I feel like Ed wanted a petty. Ugh, okay. Can you imagine having to do Ed's petty? Ugh, and he always wears those like long ass socks. Can you imagine? Ooh. Whew. Okay, so then they go to dinner, and Ed has been talking about doing this, and he lays it on the table. Rosemary won't talk about her past, and he's like, I want you to get an STD test. And she handles it like a fucking champ. Because first of all, this. I agree that if you enter a sexual relationship with someone, it's smart to get an STD test. However, you cannot be like, I want you to get one. This is not a smooth way to do it. It's not. I don't understand. Like, especially for a man to ask a woman that, then there should be like this warmth around it and this like, we're doing it for us thing where it's like, I love you. I want, like, I really care about our health. And so before we enter into a sexual relationship, I would like us both to have STD tests so we both can feel comfortable with each other. Like, but instead it's like you. And it just ends up feeling very like me, like what the hell is wrong with me? Like also probably for her, she's like, ooh, you're an old ass disgusting man. Like why the hell would you should get, whatever. So he asks her to get an STD test, and she's upset and hurt by it because of the manner in which he asks. And then of course, thank God, she's like, you're going to get one then too. And then he has the audacity to be like, well, not here, I'm not. Not here. I don't trust anything here. Not you, not the doctors, none of it. And it's like, why didn't he think that might happen? Why he didn't just go like, I want us both to get STD tests. In fact, here's one. I got one like, a week before I left America. Here are the results. If you don't want to get one in the Philippines. I went to my doctor. This is it. I just got one and it's great. I have my results. I just like, so she's like, no, you have to get one too. You too. Yeah, both of us. And this is where I realized that she didn't get a mani. which I'm like, ugh, she should have gotten one. There's like one long nail, there's like one short nail, and there's like none of it makes sense. And then like it's so sad because she's very hurt, as she keeps saying she is hurt, she is hurt. And then like he storms off because she won't talk about her past and like she doesn't want to get the STD test and she is just left there and like they get the shot of her, and she looks like a teenager with like a huge malt size ice cream sundae glass of orange juice that like she sipped like a little bit from and sushi she hasn't touched and I'm just in a purple peplum top and I'm just like this poor woman to be insulted by Ed. Ugh. How do you not have the foresight how to like treat that situation? Also, if you're like so afraid to have that conversation because you know it's hard, like why you wouldn't have tried to like massage it in your mind by like being like, I did this for you. Can you do this for me? You're like, I'll never understand it. But he runs out and then she comes out and then he like forces her to talk about her past, like who her baby daddy is. And she's like, he is this guy I dated 4 years ago and then we don't talk anymore and he has a family now. And since then I've had two boyfriends. Like that's all the information that she gives him. And he's like, that's all I wanted. That's all you wanted was her to list three different specific men, not even their names though, just two past boyfriends and baby daddy. That's not what you wanted. I don't quite understand. Like, it's like he's upset over the number of Facebook friends that she has, whether they're a bunch of like men in different country, probably, and whether they leave comments on her pictures or whether she's commenting on their pictures. Like that what seems to be the crux, but he's not saying anything specific about that. So they fight. She's upset. She's very upset. He sees that she's upset. He feels like trying to take things back by being like, that's all I wanted. See, that's all I wanted. It's like, no, you wanted her to get an STD test. And then she's like, I want to go home. I want to go home. And he's like, well, I just want to make sure you're okay. She's like, I don't care about whether you want me to be okay. I want to go home. And he's like, well, I can get you a hotel and I can get you a hotel room in my hotel, or I can get you a hotel room not my hotel. She's like, and you not your hotel is the answer. And not your hotel. So then, yeah, like he like books one right then and there, I guess, puts her in a cab, and then someone slams the door, and then he's crying that like he no longer believes in true love, that it can happen. My God. Well, the previews are going to be exciting for next week. Um, an interesting tidbit is that like Darcy and Tom come back, and then we have this soundbite from Tom that like I had to replay it twice, which I'm pretty sure he says something like, I love Darcy more than either she knows or I love her more than she does or something. He also does look skinnier. It smells like steak. I don't know where it's coming from. Someone's barbecuing steak. Um, I'm on my feminine time right now, which is fun. Tee hee hee. Did you guys notice this? Because I know there's like a lot of females in this room. Like when you're in your feminine time, I feel like my sense of smell is like I'm like a dog, I'm just like, yeah, someone is barbecuing a nice steak. Smells like a ribeye. Medium rare. No, I'm just kidding, but could you imagine? Okay, so I'm excited about next week. But yeah, I'm gonna deep dive and do like a cast controversies videos where we can like see what's been happening, you know, post and pre-production and behind the scenes and on the gram, which is where all the juice comes out. Okay, I'm gonna go to you guys and see what you've been talking about. That if you're watching this not live, that is the end of all my notes about what happened. That's this last episode. Um, okay, you guys are agreeing that I cringe when he expects her to compliment him on his looks. Oh yeah, Mickey. Ed when Ed's like, what do you think of me? And she's like, I want her to be like, I wouldn't expect you to come to my one room, like shanty with my sister and be like, isn't this a palace? You know what I'm saying? He's so weird and gross. He's so out of touch. In a way, it's also like Lisa. Like Lisa's like controlling behavior as if like she's the only female in the world. And it's like, you know, how do I say this? It's like if you aren't okay, how do I say this nicely? I'm gonna have this sip and I'm gonna think about it. Okay. We all have gifts in this world. If your gift isn't being drop dead gorgeous, then why are you acting like you are? Or that someone should be thankful for the way that you look? God, that sounds bad. What am I trying to say? I don't know. He's just really insecure. Oh, you're right, Yoletta. His gift is being necklace, honey. He's the best necklace person I've ever seen. He puts himself in a situation that magnifies his insecurities. Absolutely. And then, like, calls it out for people to awkwardly have to deal with. I do not think she is worried about her looks. Yes, Lisa is not worried about her looks. But I guess it's like, yeah, what does she think about her is so all encompassing, is so magnetizing that she should like own every part of Usman. I think she, Lisa, is just trying to take control of the situation and demanding what she thinks she deserves. Okay, so why does she think she deserves like his undying devotion to her? Because he's in love with her? Is that why? Because she thinks he's in love with her. And she thinks that love for a man means that like they get on all fours and like abide by everything that she says and like like the concept of sticking up for oneself, like sticking up for your loved one is something. I get it. But and like so I think that I understand Lisa being like, why wouldn't you stick up for me? But like her demands on his career, like why does she think she gets to say that? Because she was in an abusive relationship before. But Usman wasn't in that relationship. I mean, I guess I'm just like, so, and she thinks he loves her. In her brain, she believes that coupled with the green card dangle. Okay. So she's like, you better do what I want because A, I'm giving you this raw PP and I'm giving you a green card. So get down on your knees, honey. She just said, call me. Want, call you. I'm in the middle of a live. Oh, wait, my phone is off. Well, I mean, what am I going to do then? I'm going to call my friend during this live. I mean, I would call you if your phone was off. On. You want me to? It's just like, yeah, it's just like I can't deal with I think she's gonna say something for you guys. I'll put her on speakerphone. I just like it's very hard for me to understand like the concept, because I think that like maybe like if you're with someone who's like younger and hotter, like not that you should acquiesce everything, but wait, should I put you on speakerphone? Okay. But you want me to put you on speakerphone, right? Okay. Okay. Wall wants to make her point known. And so I'm going to let her explain the situation for me because I am. Did you drop your stuff yet?
Wait, can you still hear me?
I can now. I'm putting you. You're already on speakerphone, boo.
I know. Wait, call me. I'll call you.
What is happening, Wah? Can you believe this? What is happening here? As if I'm not doing a live for people. As if she like can just mess with my whole world. Ellen's story, please. Okay. Oh no. I'll get to that. Okay, Boo, go ahead.
Okay. So here's my thoughts. I do understand what you're saying about Lisa, and I think you're right. To add on to that, I think that Lisa A believes that her and Usman are in some kind of like real relationship where she has equal stakes in it as he does. And I think one of those things is him coming to America. Like what she lacks in beauty and like actual appeal is she's making up for in, I guess, the adoration she's given him over the last 2 years, the dedication she's given him over the last 2 years, and the fact that he can get a green card. I think that because she was in an abusive relationship in the past, like as this new woman, she's not going to let any man, she's not going to take any shit from any man. And the way it's playing out is by her bullying this child. This like 30-year-old person who's trying to get his career off the ground.
This child. Wow, do you think they're gonna like stick together?
No, I don't think they're gonna be together at all.
Like, I'm surprised he hasn't like sent her packing yet. Like, in the sense of like, we saw Michael like, you know, his friends like be like, dude, you are effed up, and we knew that he was gonna like swallow it all. But Usman doesn't think that he's gonna swallow all of this abuse in front of his friends, right?
I think that Usman really wants to get to the U.S. to promote his career, and I think he's understanding that this reality show will produce it. Because I was trying to correlate the timeline between Michael and Angela, and Usman seeing that as an opportunity, but about the time that, if they're telling the truth, Usman and baby girl Lisa have been dating around the same time that Angela and Michael would have been filming. So it's not like Usman would have seen that it was working for Angela and Michael. But I do believe that Usman knows of Michael and Angela. And when the opportunity came up for this show, he might have even told Lisa this is the show, so that he could promote himself as Nigerian. Because I don't know if you remember, but in 2018, when Michael and Angela like got this thing cracking, 90 Day Fiance, Nigerians would hashtag 90 Day Fiance just off cut. Like I followed the hashtag, and there would be like lots of just Nigerian comedians putting up funny skits, like doing things like that. So like the fact that Michael has brought a lot of like 90 Day energy to Nigeria, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have more like, you know, people from the continent that are trying to like get on this show. It worked for Muhammad, it worked for Azan, and then it like really worked for Michael and Angela because of Angela. And even in the beginning, we could also tell that like they did love each other, right? Did you think that?
Yes.
I thought they did.
I still think Michael and Angela love each other.
Yeah. But it's very apparent that Lisa loves Usman more than Usman likes her, and that he's really just, because think about it, how many people so far on this season alone are self-promoting?
Yes. However, I don't even know if Lisa loves Usman. It just seems that she loves that D, right? Like, because she's not treating him like someone that she loves, that cares about his life and career and cares for that his friends like her. You know, like there are things that you do when you love someone. Like, I don't even think that I feel like she thinks of him as like this like hot play toy, you know, that like, well, that is like but it also tries to emasculate him. So that's why I'm like, does she love him?
Yeah, maybe because he's been paying her attention for like 2 years, and that all of her friends are naysayers. I think a part of her is like going to the U.S. to like show her friends that at the end of the day, she's not going to take any shit from him, because I think everyone's been telling her that he's been using her. And so now that she's going over there and like he's doing quote unquote things that she doesn't like, or quote unquote things that she has already talked to him about, she's now trying to save face by showing like how tough she is, and she isn't going to take crap from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I think she's trying to save face in front of her friends and family on camera.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. And like, be like, yeah. You know, I mean, you know, she's like, feels like the opposite of Yolanda, you know, like she's so jaded and so like, you know, like there's like an impierceable force field of like defense mechanism. And then Yolanda's like, everything's real, you know, like I keep seeing red flags, and it's like, what flags? You know, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. And I think you're right about Ed and Rose. Like, I think Ed is creating an environment of self. I think Ed and Lisa are parallel in a certain manner, of like an older, like, you know, I mean, white person, I guess. I don't know. I don't know Ed, but like from the States, who's like going to the foreign place, finding the younger person. And in Ed's case, this is more disturbing because there's a 30-year difference. And he has to know that in his heart that he's going over there to get a mail order bride, because no 50-year-old man would pull a 23-year-old woman from poverty.
Who looks, by the way, she's 23 and she looks 14. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 fucking teen.
He's like, her eyes are so brown and deep that I fell in love. It's like, no, you're after 3 months, you're going to the Philippines and demanding all of this from her because you've basically been a fool, and you again want to like show your friends and family that you are being smart about it. But at the same time, he did take a ring there. So he took a ring there. He wants an STD test. He's acting like, you know, everything is Rose's fault because she doesn't want to divulge her darkest secrets. And that's him choosing, I think, a girl who's younger than his own daughter because he wants to control them to a certain extent.
Yeah. And I feel sorry, I just want to say, like, and he feels like such a woman would make him feel obviously better about himself. They're practically the same height. Actually, she's taller than him. We know that for a fact. But like maybe the sheer act that she's so much younger, like he could feel, you know, like a big man, like older, wiser, literally.
Dominant, yeah.
Yeah.
He holds the key to everything. That her sister reached out, he wouldn't have kept that secret. He would have just gone to Rose and been like, your sister crossed the line for me, and you need to talk to her about it. You know, like, I'm willing to help your family out, but you can't directly ask me for money. That makes me uncomfortable. Like something, if he was being real.
Do you think that he's going to give the sister money?
I don't know. I don't think he is. I think that he needs to have control. I think he's going to give money eventually, but I think he wants to have control over it in the way that he deems like proper. Because these gifts, like, first of all, let me tell you, you know, I sent something to Guatemala and it took like 2 months to get there.
Yeah.
So like,
well, he sent 5,000 worth of stuff that never got there. He said.
Right. He said he did 5,000 just in shipping. Not 5,000 worth of stuff, just in shipping alone. He spent that much money to kind of try to get those items there, and they have yet to reach her.
Now, so do you think? I'm like, yeah. Do you think they didn't reach her?
No, I don't think they have. Otherwise, she would have been like, Ed, send me this. Ed, send me that, and then her dad would have had that grill. He sent her dad a grill.
Oh yeah. And now I just have to sustain on little samples of frozen yogurt every once in a while, you know? All right. I'm going to hang up with you, but do you want to say anything else?
No, I think it was great. You did a good job today. I just wanted to like chime in real quick.
No, I'm so happy you did. I'm so happy you did. I'm going to do, you have to be here. I'm going to do a cast controversies video, which we keep talking about. And I'm going to do a Tiger King recap. So not right now, but in
Tiger King recap. You really should.
I need to. All right. We love you, Wah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Let me come on.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So that's obviously Wah, who's in the room right now. Just Call Me Wah here on YouTube. And of course you can follow her on YouTube, on Instagram and Twitter. Just Call Me Wah. Yeah, so those are our thoughts. We'll see what happens, you know. So so I'm going to quickly tell you, you can watch, I put up 2 old videos, right? One is a full-length fantasy special, which you can talk about. And the other is an old stand-up thing I did like from 2000, whatever. And I'm only saying that because because I talk about this Ellen story. By the way, when I put up the stand-up, it isn't because I think it's that great. It's like, well, it was a long time ago. I'm much better at stand-up now. But that's what that is. So I'm going to read you a series of my tweets. Okay, so Kevin T. Porter, who is, I think, let me see where he's on. He's an actor on Gilmore. No, I don't know what he does. Gilmore Guy's show. Oh, I don't know. He's like an actor or something like that, right? Like, I don't really know him that well, but he seems very nice. Okay. Put up this thing and he said, right now we all need a little kindness, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this tweet with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being me, and I'll match everyone with a $2 donation to LA Food Bank. Okay. So this is what I replied. I worked at Real Food Daily, which is an organic vegan restaurant in Los Angeles, and served Portia and her at brunch. She wrote a letter to the owner and complained about my chipped nail polish. Not that it was on her plate, but just that it was on my hand. I had worked till closing the night before, and this was the next morn. Almost got me fired. So this tweet that I wrote is now like my best-selling tweet of all time. It has like lots of retweets and lots of likes, and these are some follow-ups. I'm going to talk about some things. A, I was a big fan of Ellen. I had watched her coming out as the first gay main character on her own sitcom, as well as her seminal and poignant Phone Call with God comedy bit, which is she did on the Carson show. It's like she has this like phone call with God, and it's really funny. It's like it's seminal. People know about it. I'm also a fan of Portia. I loved Ally McBeal, which is another thing. I even did a podcast talking about my love of Ally McBeal. Like that was a great show for the time. It's definitely dated, it did not hold up well, but during, it also like felt like some precursor. It was kind of like Sex and the City meets My So-Called Life in a way. A female protagonist, like we hear in her mind thoughts, and we see like fantasies. I was just really into it. B, they would come into Real Food Daily a lot. That restaurant, by the way, wall worked out for a bit. Okay. That restaurant changed hands, but it was the first vegan organic place in LA. This was my first time serving them. Other famous regulars, all of these were dream people that I served, were Tobey Maguire, Jason Bateman, Elizabeth Berkley, Sarah Gilbert, Linda Perry, who I didn't say, Usher's godfather, Ben Vereen, I didn't say that, and my personal fave, Biddy Schramm, who is the lady that's crying in A League of Their Own when Tom Hanks says there is no crying in baseball. C, I realized chipped nail polish isn't the best for a young waitress to have, but I had worked the night before an open brunch and slept the 9 hours in between shifts instead of getting a manicure. She never asked for another server, but she was a little cold during the meal. Also, she didn't tip. I try to put the bill by her, but then like she was with Portia and this other non-famous person, and the non-famous person ended up picking up the tab and tipped like a very chill 17%. D, I actually didn't want to serve her because she was intimidating and I had heard stories. She made a deal with the owner and the kitchen would prep her lunch before we opened every day. When she would come in, she'd park a white Porsche in a very small back of the restaurant. She'd come in puffy-faced and red. I always assumed her dermatologist must have been close by. My section had the only open table at the time, so she sat down right next to Christina Applegate. She asked me what Christina Applegate was having. I answered taco de town with cashew cheese. Another thing to know is the owner of the restaurant. I couldn't put this all in tweets, but I could talk about this for a long time because every weird detail is true. The owner of the restaurant, again, it was the first organic vegan restaurant in Los Angeles. It opened like years and years ago, like before Cafe Gratitude, like before the movement of veganism, And so the owner should have been more famous than what she was. Like the owner, for all intents and purposes, should be like have had her own cooking show, like she was a pioneer in the vegan organic movement that's now huge. But this was like, again, like the 90s or whatever. Not when I'm telling you the story of when she opened her first restaurant. Okay. So Ellen has a talk show, and the owner of the restaurant got to go on to film a segment on how to make this vegan cashew cheese, which was like one of the mainstays of the restaurant. Like they make this really yummy cashew cheese, and like the nachos at the restaurant was like one of like the top sellers. Really is tasty, okay. But so the owner always wanted Ellen to help her and like introduce her to people and make her famous, right? And Ellen is a bitch and would like hold that over her. So she comes on Ellen's show. They film a segment, how to make the vegan cashew cheese. And that show runs out of time and they cut the restaurant owner's segment. Therefore, the segment never airs, and therefore she never gets all of the like fanfare that she wanted. So that's another reason why the owner would have been like acquiesced to Ellen, because Ellen is a power player and in the town and could have done big things for her because Ellen has been a very activist, loud vegan for a long time. E, pumped as I was. wait, so, oh, I missed a thing. So what ends up happening is, oh, why did I mess this up? Okay. Eh, Okay, so 2 weeks later, this would happen. So I'm reading you my tweets. 2 weeks later, my managers asked for a sit down. One manager I liked, Charlie, and one I thought was asinine, Rosa. They said, "Did you serve Ellen when she came into brunch?" And I excitedly said yes because I thought she maybe wanted to use me for a bit on her show. I was pumped. Pumped because, as I said, I was a fan, and also because I'm high, as you know, an actress, comedian slash waitress at this time, and would have loved a break. I also was really fun as a server, zapping, jovial, with a genuine love of food, people, and vegan culture. But then Charlie gave me a look. The look was like, "I'm so sorry, this is so dumb," and they told me they Ellen had written a letter to the owner and that I was going to be punished in some way. I never talked to the owner directly about this. I had worked there on and off for 10 years, which is true. This restaurant job was the first job I had out of college. I started as a hostess. And then I went up to counter and packing to go orders and counter server. And now I was a server. I worked there for years. And then what happened is I booked a couple of commercials and thought that like my career was just going to be like, bye, you guys. And so I quit far too early in my career. And then when I ran out of money, because another thing was that like in the early 2000s, I thought I was going to make commercial money like they used to in the 90s, which is like in the 90s, if you booked a commercial, you'd be like $50,000, which is crazy. But they changed rules and things. So I booked like 3 national commercials within like a year and thought that I was going to make like a lawyer salary for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? And well, I can attest to all of this. I ended up like opening up a Pier One credit card and then just like outfitted my whole apartment. Like I bought all of the furniture for a whole like small home. You know what I'm saying? And just charged it all. Like was like, well, I'm rich now. And quit my job. This is like the folly of youth. Okay. Um. And so anyway, so then I had to go back when I spent all that money, right? And go back and get my old job back. So that's why I had worked there and then I quit and then I worked there back again. This was the second time I had worked there when this happened. Obviously, this is the end of me working there. But this is what I'll finally say. What I don't get is why she would try and mess with the livelihood of someone who was beneath her that served her over something so trivial. Why was she so petty? She had to have guessed I was some sort of artist like everyone else in the LA restaurants industry. I've told this story 1 million times since it happened. People are always like, look, she should have you on her show. I mean, that would never happen. But be nice to people that work in the service industry. That's the takeaway. Yeah, that's true. You should be nice to people who work with you. It's almost like I feel like it should be a prerequisite that everyone works in the service industry for a minute so you understand how shitty it is to have to serve people and you treat everyone with respect. You know? So that's the whole story. But I do tell it in a very funny way in the stand up that I had uploaded if you want to hear the story again. Um, yeah. I really loved working in a restaurant though. Like I'm still friends with managers and everyone I served with. It was like it is a family, like because you like go through war together. It's just like out in the trenches, and like, uh, sometimes I see people like the youngins now. Like now the youngin servers can just put the orders in right at the table and just run your credit card there. How lovely that would have been. I like had to like write things down and like go, only had 2 monitors and like people be waiting for their turn. Servers would be waiting for their turn to use like the credit card machines and monitors. And because the restaurant was vegan, we had like so many very specific people, very specific eaters with like no oil, no, just like everything, no peanuts, peanut allergies were a nightmare to deal with. And I feel so bad if you have one. Oh my God, believe me, I don't want you to die. But at the same time, if you have a peanut allergy and it's severe and you come to a restaurant, you could sue the person that served you or the place or the restaurant, which by the way happened, not me, but one peanut person sued the restaurant. So because it's like if someone says they have a peanut allergy, you have to like check every ingredient of anything. There can be a bunch of ingredients, a bunch of different things in one dish. It's actually horrifying. Anyway, there's so many stories I had, like, not just like with famous people. Like one time I was doing to go orders and like a person called and was like breathing heavily in the phone, like wanted that phone sex. And I was like, do you want your sea veggies? I don't understand, you know? Um, but yeah, so I still have dreams. I said this in a text people. I still have dreams all the time that I'm trying to like that I'm either working at Real Food Daily again or that like I'm trying to get my job back or something. It's like it's kind of like school dreams. I still have dreams that I'm like going back to college or going back to like study. It's so interesting how those places those ritualistic places like permeate your soul and your existence and it's so hard to shake, you know? Ah, I love you guys. Anyway, Carla cooking vegan, can you imagine? Honey, I know all about that tempeh. I know about that seitan life, honey. I know it. As I like low key was eating some salami before. Anyway, life is funny, isn't it? I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this very intimate live with me. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for my super chat. If Ty's still here, happy goddamn birthday, boo. I really love you guys, and uh, I can't wait to chat more with you. And since we're all staying home, it's gonna be a lot of that. Okay. Okay. Um, Anyway, I can't wait to read your comments. Okay, so I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stand up for what you believe and make art. Okay? Bye, baby boos.